Hey, what's going on? My name is Anthony Vitale, and my guest at this time is Chris Linkovich. He sings in a band called Cruel Hand, and he's from the state of Maine. First of all, before we start, thank you for taking the interview. Super nice. We've been talking about doing this for a while, and we're finally here. Okay, I want to talk about a few things. I want to get into the negatives and your current release with Hopeless. I want to talk about where this band is going, where it's gone. But first of all, the first thing I guess I want to talk about this band is that you are being labeled as the crossover band. You're a hardcore band, not doing so many hardcore shows, hardcore tours these days. You're out right now with The Amity Affliction, Chelsea Grin, Secrets, Cruel Hand. So for a lot of people, this doesn't make sense. What's your thoughts on being the crossover band?
I love it because immediately you're gonna stick out no matter what. You know, you're gonna be like the band that kids are like this. Immediately, we don't sound like any of these other bands. I think these bands have, they're obviously different from each other, but I think they're more similar than we are to those bands. So, we just kind of like we stick out like a sore thumb, and that's fine by me because it's gonna make these kids think a little bit. They're just not gonna be like, oh, this is another one of these like heavy like mosh, mall metal, whatever things. So, and it's gonna make them think, and if they like it, they're gonna go out and they're gonna find other bands like it, and hopefully we can show some kids to the light, lead them to the light. Hardcore, it's all about.
So you're saying that you're the hardcore band that could possibly be a gateway for kids to get into hardcore. What is it about the hardcore kids that don't like the fact that you're leaving that world and you're stepping out, and tonight you're playing a sold-out concert in New York City?
It is sold out.
I think we're almost there.
Yeah.
It looks
pretty sold out.
Really good.
Those kids, I don't know. I was there too. We were all young. We were all, just rambunctious teens with our favorite bands who, we were just super loyal to, and we didn't want those outsiders to have them. And we didn't want them to leave our sides.
So you can kind of relate to the kids that are upset that Cruel Hand is doing
for
it.
sure. And it's funny being on the other end of it now.
So on your end, you're trying to expand your band, expand the product. Get out of the maybe the VFW halls. Like, you still play the shows.
Of course.
But
We'll always play those shows. But we want to grow at the same time. And so we love doing these types of tours and playing in front of new kids. I know the hardcore scene is going to come out and see us. Maybe a couple kids will trickle in. And that's awesome because I know those kids are like, those kids are truly down for us.
Sure.
And if kids are gonna cut us off just because we tour with a certain band or a certain sound, and good riddance.
I got you.
So, out with those kids and in with the new ones, in with the kids. Like, I love the idea that we're like building hardcore kids.
That's definitely a positive way to think of it. So you could relate to the kids that are upset, but you're also understanding.
If they're upset, maybe they're just jaded with hardcore in general, and they're ready. They just needed that little extra push out the door. And if that's us, so be it, because there's new kids coming in. So.
Okay. What is your definition of selling out? If a kid were to say that Cruel Hand being on tour, playing a concert with the Amity Affliction is selling out, I don't know how to really put this to you, but how do you visualize selling out? Is Cruel Hand a sellout band? But what would it take for a band to be a sellout?
A sellout would be, I think it's the band that's gonna take the big money to be shaped and formed into some nice knit, a product that's like a label or someone can develop and just change their whole history and their whole whatever they were previously as like a hardcore band or punk rock or whatever ethics, that they had from the underground and just completely give those up, take the money, and be whatever these bigwigs want them to be.
And you're still Cruel Hand.
Yeah. Where's the money? Show me the money. You know, there's nothing there, and we're still doing it. We do it because we love it. You know.
So kids, right? We're on the topic still of kids being upset with Cruel Hand doing big shows. You played a festival in Philadelphia last year, which I was at. Great time. You played with a Day to Remember called Self Help. Sold out, tremendous festival. You guys announced this on your Instagram, right? And social media is a very dangerous place these days. Okay, and you put yourself in the line of fire by jumping on this show with a Day to Remember.
Yeah.
And a kid, this is something I dug up from the Cruel Hand Instagram. I'm not going to give the name of the user, but he says, okay, I'm out of here. First the pop punk tour, then the negatives, now this shit. Cruel Hand, please, take me back to the Without a Pulse days. Hashtag RIP. And then you would go back and forth with this kid for a little while. So you go out with Balance and Composure, title fight.
Yeah.
You're on this festival with a Day to Remember. You're doing, like I said, these crossover tours. You know, there's other bands that have done this before, like Expire and stuff like that. But you responded to this kid. What do you feel about somebody that says that they're out of here and hashtag rest in peace?
I say good riddance. I say get the fuck out of here. Peace. You know. Pablo.
So,
Fucking Chelsea Gray, man. Those guys are cool.
hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, if that's your attitude, fuck your attitude. You know, get lost. We don't need that negativity.
Hell yeah.
You know, like if you really can't hang with us because of that, of the bands we choose to play with, and then we don't need you.
Yeah.
We don't need
no,
you.
the message is pretty clear.
If you can't grow with us, you know, we don't need you. We don't need you around. We don't need your support. As far as now the negatives, those are the people who put the CD on and listen to the first track and shut it off. They heard the song Pissing Spitting. You know, we wanted to make a statement, and we did. Kids were shutting that CD off right away because we put a punk rock jam track one. Maybe it wasn't the best move. Maybe making that statement of, you know, it's right in the lyrics. Like we went, you know, they went their way, we went ours, or whatever. Right. Like, you know, we made the statement, we made our bed, we had to lie in it. It did mean that, like, it, you know, kids were shutting the CD off and chucking the CD out the window probably. But like, it's funny now because kids are revisiting it for some reason, and they're like, oh, I listened to like the rest of the CD. It's a hardcore record. It's a Cruel Hand record, you know. So that's pretty funny with these kids.
No regrets though.
Yeah, I mean, I can't regret it. You know, we did what we did. Fuck it.
Yeah.
But was it the best decision? Maybe not. That's the only track. That's the only like thing we did with that record that I feel was questionable. Everything else, the clean vocals, the, you know, the more like poppier sounding choruses and things like that, I have no regrets with that. Those were just sprinkled into the record. There was like one track, like Unhinged or something, you know. But it was the punk rock song, track one that kids like honestly they're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what is this? I'm like, dude, it's fucking punk. That's where I came from.
The roots of hardcore.
I don't want to be like a metal, like I would rather associate with punk rock than metal personally. You know, I love metal, like the, you know, Metallica and Slayer and bands like that. But like, as far as like metalcore, mall metal, whatever the kids are calling it, like, I would rather associate with the punk rock side of things. And I want to bring that to the forefront. Right. I think this stuff that's going on today, it had a great run, but let's do something different. Yeah. Let's bring punk rock back. Let's bring that attitude back and see what happens.
Well, you're bringing that flavor, and I think the kids were getting into it tonight. You're already on the topic. This was my next question, but let's talk about the negatives and what is your favorite song about it. And let's talk about how this isn't, some people don't see it as a Cruel Hand record. You put it out on Hopeless. You're putting out high quality music videos. Maybe people think less of you for this, but what's your favorite song on the Negatives? What makes it not a Cruel Hand record? What apparently makes it not a Cruel Hand record?
I guess it's just the fact that like we started to experiment with what we could do individually as members of the band. You know, dudes started like who were writing songs were like started to expand on what a Cruel Hand song should be. You know, we all started working to like our abilities. We didn't just want to be like, okay, there's that ceiling, you know, as far as what's cool with hardcore. Let's test the waters and see what happens. Because we listen to so much other music and we love like, you know, rock and punk and so much stuff.
Right.
Like, let's incorporate that into these songs. And that's why it's a fucking Cruel Hand record, I guess, apparently.
And how do you feel about, we're kind of running around this a lot, but people almost take away like a street cred for a sound. So how do you feel about possibly losing street cred for this record?
The street cred, I guess, like, I don't know, man. It's like, we're just fucking, we're not from the streets.
Right.
So, like, you know, that right away, like, I feel like the stuff we were doing before was more fantasy.
Yeah.
Was more like, oh shit, let's write shit that's like Madball, Cro-Mags,
right?
You know, hard hitting shit. And it's like that to me is the fantasy. That's you know, that was fun to make, but honestly at the end of the day, is that like really like who we are?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And that's how it is. I mean, that shit will always be awesome to me,
right?
And will always be incorporated into the music. But yeah, no, seriously, like, I'm not ashamed. You know, we're just from the fucking suburbs and just like writing music that we wanted to hear. Now we're writing more music that we want to hear because we're like grown ass men now.
Sick.
You know.
Real quick, what's your favorite song on the Negatives?
The Negatives.
The Negatives.
Yeah.
Title track.
Title track.
Okay. Let's wrap things up. People think of this band, you know, there's controversy around it, some people respect it. What's next for Cruel Hand? Where do you go from here?
We're gonna try to crank out another record like sooner than later. Mm-hmm. Like, I think between Lock and Key and the Negatives it was like 4 years almost or something. So we want to like start working on a new record right away. And
we might go deeper into this sound and expand a little bit more, you think?
I don't know. Honestly, like, part of me wants to write that record. Part of me wants to write Prying Eyes Part 2. You know? But also part of me wants to, like, take those songs like Monument Square People and Unhinged.
Yeah.
And go that way. You know? So it's like, and then what do? You go full retard with that? Or do you split it up 50-50? Or you can really do... It's crazy. It's stressful to think about. You're like, what are we going to do?
Well, listen, take some time to think about it. I really appreciate you giving me the time. This is Chris Linkovich. His band is called Cruel Hand. The record is called The Negatives. Check out everything before that, too. And thanks a lot for watching. Thank you.
Thanks, man.